Hi, this is Joseph. Today is Monday. It's June 13th. Not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, more of the same for the most part. Once we had this breakdown below this area of support and then it did it again here, it was pretty obvious that it was going to accelerate to the downside. This is the daily time frame on the US 30. That's the one that I primarily trade with the trade copier. So if you're going to use the trade copier, be aware that most of the trades are going to be on the US 30. And then if the US 30 really isn't giving me any opportunities, I'll be looking at the Forex majors to trade them. Now, the biggest reason that or the primary reason that I like trading US 30, first of all, it's a really good moving market. I mean, it covers really big distances. Right now, we're down just about 700 points, but earlier in the day, we were down 900 points. So it provides some really good opportunities. Now, on days like this, I've got to be really careful. I'm going to go to a 5 minute chart and you can see what it looks like at this point. I do expect that it's going to continue lower. If it's going to continue to drop a lot lower, I've got obviously further targets over here to the right. You probably have the same thing. I've got some resistance areas over here that go all the way back from January 2020 to about, here's where the drop off is, February 2020. So for about a month or so, it spent a little time over here in this creating this area, this pocket of resistance, which could be obviously some kind of a price magnet here. You can see how it had an effect a couple of different times. This is a daily time frame, by the way. But let's take a look at the 5 minute chart. The 5 minute chart is usually where I'm executing my trades, and I'm watching this closely when the market opens. I really like trading after the stock market opens, but that's not always the case. Sometimes I get some really good opportunities right after economic data, let's say 8:30 New York time, so I don't have to wait until 9:30. But very often, and most days, I will wait until the stock market opens. But here on a 5 minute chart, you can see after the initial reaction, and here's where you see a lot more volume picking up when the stock market opens. At this point, we're just kind of going sideways. And it did make an attempt to break out and above the morning's high after the market opened, but it failed. It really didn't go anywhere, and it kind of tested it again. And then it just went flat and sideways. At this point, I'm done for the day. There may be some kind of a late in the day breakout or rally, but I don't think so. Today doesn't really look like that. Anyway, I continue to watch it right up until the market closes. And that's it. So no losing trades, but they've been relatively small. When you see trading ranges like this that are really tight and sideways, it has covered quite a distance, but still, this is pretty choppy. I mean, when it starts to go sideways and there really isn't any trending environment, it makes it difficult for me to get in and then hold onto the trade for 4, 5, 600 points. That's not going to happen just yet. So I am waiting for the opportunities. I've got a couple of different possible scenarios, either direction. I am going to stay focused on the larger time frames, and hopefully tomorrow we'll get another accelerated move to the downside, or if everything stops and holds here and it breaks out to the upside, I've got some potential targets that I could potentially trade a rally into resistance or areas of resistance, but we'll see how it works. We've got to be careful. I do expect that the rest of this month, it could be a little more choppy than April and May was. April and May, we had some outside of some, certain days where it was going sideways. We had some pretty decent rallies that were going 6, 7, 800 points, which was really nice. There was one day that we picked up about 1,100 points. That was really, really nice. But again, when it starts to go sideways, we've got to wait, give it time. I think we might, at least at this point, up until this moment, without any other additional, trading ranges or activity that could change my mind tomorrow or later in the week. But if everything remains constant, I think that we're likely to see a few more days like this for the rest of this month. And then July, it might open up. And then August, it might open up. Now, that's not going to affect necessarily my ability to pass funded challenges. That's always the first question that I get is, how long is it going to take? Well, the first thing just I want you to keep in mind, when you see trading ranges like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to have failed trades. That's not the case. I just have to be careful. The trades may be smaller, meaning that I may pick up, anywhere from 20, 30, 40, 50 points on a trade to 150 points on a trade. And that's relatively small. And then when it's in trending environments, especially when it breaks out after the market opens, some of those trades will pay off like 250, 300 and 400 points. So those are really nice days. So that should give you some kind of an idea that there's going to be certain trading environments where it's going to take a little bit longer, maybe a few extra days, maybe an extra week, but certainly to hit a 10% target within a 30-day period or less is relatively easy to do, even on a slow or in a slow trading environment where things are going sideways, even if that sideways activity lasts for a few days. So keep that in mind. If things are going sideways, if you can see it on a 5 minute chart, if you can see it on a 1 hour chart, expect that I'm going to have fewer trades and they're going to be a little bit smaller. But I keep going at it. I mean, I stay from the time that the market's open until the market's closed, looking for opportunities and sustainable, uh, opportunities where the market's moving and I can pick up more than 100 or 150, 250 points, something like that, if it's going to be some kind of a sustainable move. Otherwise, it may be a short term, get in, get out quickly, 20, 50, 60, 70 points, something like that, which is decent. And it all adds up. It all adds up. But you will pass a funded challenge in less than 30 days. So that gives, that should give you some kind of an idea. But I think that July and August are going to be much more active and busier in the sense that the moves are going to be much more sustainable, which means in conditions like that, you're going to pass the funded challenge a lot faster. But I can't give you a specific date. It's just not, it's impossible for anybody to give you a specific date. That would be kind of foolish. So nobody can really do that. You don't want to do that anyway because you end up forcing, if you've got a deadline like that. I think that's what happens with a lot of people that try these funded challenges and end up blowing up their accounts is that they try to do it all in a really short period of time, forcing themselves to reach that goal when you can only earn what the market provides. You got to wait. You got to wait for the market to give you your setup and give you your trade. That's the way you're going to consistently pass not only your evaluation process, but then consistently trade that account so that you can withdraw money from it, your 75, 80 to 85% profits every single month. That's what you want. You don't want somebody who's going to blow up your account because they're aggressively trying to pass and make money in 2 or 3 days. Like that's a foolish way to go, especially when the market's just not going to provide opportunities like this. So got to be really careful. Anyway, I'll send out another update in the next day or two. If tomorrow ends up being a repeat of today, I probably won't send out any updates, but everything is working out as we expect it to. I've got clear targets. I wait for the setups. I'm very, very patient. I always use a stop loss. I adhere to all of the funded account challenge guidelines and parameters that they want you to trade within. And then after you get your funded challenge, you can continue to use my trade copier to trade your live account. So you never really have to worry about it. It's almost like hands-free profits. And it's a good trade copier. It's a good system. And we're using really good brokers with this.